We all remember the feeling we felt the first time we heard of AI-generated music. What the f*** will happen to me? AI has advanced so rapidly that in 5 minutes you can not only create a fire beat, but you can whip out a fully mixed and mastered pop hit with realistic human-sounding vocals. How could any musician not be worried about this? How are we meant to survive financially when tools like this could replace our jobs? Will AI fully replace artists? What's up guys, I'm Crispy Beats, lo-fi music producer, and today I want to discuss this challenging topic and how we can stay relevant in a world where AI seems to be taking over. AI has been around in our lives for decades and it never seems to have been problematic. From autocorrect in our text messages to Gmail predicting what we will say next before we even start typing, to robots in warehouses replacing workers, and even self-driving cars. One of the most recent advancements was AI-generated music. As musicians, we can choose to be angry and resist this technology, or we can embrace it, use these tools, move forward with the times, and create ever more innovative music. Well, let's get straight into it. Will AI replace me? Back in the late 70s, Roger Nichols invented the first drum machine for Steely Dan, which was nicknamed Wendell. Steely Dan were notoriously obsessive about their drum timing and wanted to achieve absolute perfection in their music. Jeff Porcaro, one of the greatest drummers who ever lived, met Wendell in 1978, to which he exclaimed, "We must destroy this thing immediately before we all lose our jobs." Well, guess what, Jeff? 50 years later, we still have great drummers making a living in the music industry. See, the drum machine didn't really end up replacing drummers. In fact, in Steely Dan, the drummers worked very closely with the drum machine on albums like Gaucho. And after that, the drum machine sort of created its own space in the music industry, becoming very prominent in genres like hip-hop or electronic music. And the drummers, well, they continued to work in their own space and their own genres, and continue to grow to this day. You see, drum machines can do many things that drummers can't do, but drummers can do many things that drum machines can't do. And the same goes for Pro Tools versus session musicians, plugins versus studio equipment, or auto-tune versus natural vocals. AI can be seen through a very similar lens. It may create its own space and excel in this space, opening up many opportunities for future producers and artists, but that doesn't mean that it will replace our space, and we can continue to grow this space as digital and analog producers. Now, one may argue, well, as a vocalist, if I can spend $9.99 a month for unlimited beats, why would I ever pay a producer for $500 for a single beat? And that's a very good point, although it's not as simple as that. Let's discuss art for a second. What is your definition of art? Leave it down in the comments, I really want to hear this. My definition is a transfer of an emotion into something perceptible by any of the 5 senses. As we know well, humans feel many emotions on a daily basis, especially artists who are a specific type of human, very susceptible to strong emotions. When we begin to learn a specific skill, we can also learn to transfer these emotions through that skill, in hope to communicate that emotion to other people. We are sad, we make a sad song, people listen to that song, they are also sad. We successfully transferred an emotion. Producers are funny in the way that we work backwards, in the sense that we use our music making skills to transfer the emotions of another artist, to make that artist successful. That's what vocalists look for in a producer. And it's very difficult to create that connection with AI. They also look for the studio experience. Being in the same environment as other musicians and producers while working together on a common track is a beautiful experience that I recommend to any musician. With so many ideas bouncing around the room, the creativity gets so thick you can cut it with a knife. Creating music with AI also lacks this experience, and in some way diminishes your ability to create something magical. Now, I don't want to bash AI because it has lots of great advantages. For example, you can burn through 50 beats in 10 minutes before you find one that you like. The beauty of this efficiency is that it makes it ever more straightforward for anybody to discover their own artistry. All you need is an internet connection and you can start making music. Any tool that allows us to discover ourselves should be welcomed with open arms. In fact, this concept also applies to day-to-day situations, not just music. If you're in the metro waiting to get to your stop and you open your phone and come across an AI-generated article about the Mona Lisa, maybe you've never read about the Mona Lisa, and during this article you discover a newfound interest about the painting or the painter. Or maybe you're listening to Spotify on shuffle and suddenly an AI-generated beat comes on that you particularly connect with, and that inspires you to go home and make your own music. AI's efficiency can generate as many of these opportunities as possible in everyday life. While AI will beat us 100 to 1 on efficiency, what we as humans lack in efficiency, we more than make up for in imagination, something that AI can never have. Currently, AI gathers information that is already available in the world and spits it out in a certain order depending on your prompt. If you ask for a song, it will take specific concepts from different music, put them together and give you that song. And don't get me wrong, as musicians, that's what we do. We just copy from each other, learn from each other. However, we do it with a specific imagination. An intricate network of ideas and emotions guides us to create something innovative. And even though we're using preconceived themed concepts every time, we are able to put our own personality into our creations. At least a successful few do exactly this. Matisse Zato is one of the most renowned guitarists in the modern era. After studying many genres of music and learning many techniques from previous guitarists, he put those together to create his own style of playing, mixing intricate melodies while playing chords. When he first started releasing videos to Instagram, the guitar community couldn't do anything but blow up over this guy. Yes, he's playing chords and hammer-ons and pull-ups that we've seen before, but he's doing it with his own personality. These are guys that created their niche, innovated their space, and perfected their brand. And that's exactly what people want, a personal brand to connect with. AI cannot replicate this imagination. It can only reorder what's already there. It cannot create its own brand. And this takes me to my main point of this video. How can I stay relevant in an AI world? And my answer to this would be the same for a non-AI world. Be you. Create your art. Create something that only you can create. Become your sound without thinking too much about the financial result, your image, or the AI FOMO. Only you can be you, and no one or nothing can replicate you. I think it's now worth mentioning that if your mentality is AI is gonna rob me of my money from music, so I better do something more profitable, then there is a different problem at play. Because if the music thing was really worth it to you, you'd be doing it for free anyways. Now, we talked about AI on one side and us on the other side. But what about all this gray area in between? Let's talk about collaboration. The same way Porcaro and Steve Gadd recorded the drum sounds that were used in Wendell, how can we use AI in our music? There are already an abundance of AI tools out there. I'm just going to discuss two that I use quite frequently. Now, the first is our good old friend ChatGPT. Stuck on finding a new chord progression? Ask ChatGPT. Don't know how to mix that bass track? Ask ChatGPT. What sound would complement this vintage Rhodes sample? Ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT can be an infinite encyclopedia of knowledge for any musician. The second is AI generated music itself. As producers, we're constantly looking for samples on Splice, from records, from films. Well, AI generated music represents another option to get our samples. Generate a track, put it into your DAW, sample it, flip it, chop it up, pitch it, do whatever you want to it, and create a new track. You may find the exact sound you want, or you may bump into something unexpected, new, and interesting. I personally don't think we should be too worried about AI, but instead we should just focus on creating our own art and doing it as well as possible. We can use these new tools to help us along the way, or just stick to our old processes. Either way, this is an inevitable wave that we all must surf, and I'm sure we'll learn plenty of things along the way. So thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe. I have plenty of videos like this one coming out very soon. But for now, I'll catch you next time.